Hilary and Stephen were a couple who, as they say, were a joy to behold. 8 years of marriage, not a single public argument, shared interests, a cozy apartment, and plans for the future. The only thing that marred their lives was the lack of children. They underwent checkups, took tests, looked for causes, but always received vague answers. You're healthy. It just needs time. That Monday, Hilary went to the clinic for another round of hormone panel results. Usually, the results were sent by mail, but the doctor insisted on an in-person meeting. She returned home earlier than usual. Stephen was still at work. She went into the bathroom, looked at herself in the mirror, and burst into tears. The world had turned upside down. Cancer. Early stage, but aggressive. Treatment was supposed to have started yesterday, and it was going to be exorbitantly expensive. That evening, when Stephen entered the apartment, dinner was not ready. And the lights were out. Hilary sat on the living room floor, clutching a crumpled sheet of paper. Hill, what happened? Stephen instantly turned pale, running toward her. She looked up at him. Her eyes filled with tears and horror. I have cancer, Steve. I'm scared. Stephen sank to his knees next to her. He didn't ask questions, didn't panic. He simply hugged her so tightly, as if trying to protect her from the whole world. We can handle this, he whispered. I'm here. We'll find the best doctors. I'll sell you anything. Do you hear me? You're not alone. They barely slept for 2 nights. Stephen searched for clinics, counted his money. He had about 500,000 rubles in his accounts, a drop in the bucket. He had one trump card left, the 3-room apartment in the city center his parents had given him as a wedding gift. Stephen's parents, Valentina Petrovna and Igor Semenovich, were wealthy and powerful. They always treated Hilary with cool politeness. A sweet girl, but without any kind of family, her mother-in-law once said. The apartment was their main lever of pressure, their gift, which they reminded her of at every opportunity. On Saturday morning, Stephen went to his parents' house. Hilary stayed home. She didn't even have the strength to get out of bed. The parents' living room smelled of pies and furniture polish. After listening to his son, Igor Semyonovich frowned, and Valentina Petrovna slowly placed her cup on the table. Wait. Son, she interrupted. You want to sell the apartment? Our apartment. For what? For Hilary's life, Mom. She needs urgent surgery and chemotherapy. Have you seen the documents? Her mother-in-law narrowed her eyes. Are you sure this diagnosis even exists? There are so many scammers these days. Mom. I saw the results. I spoke with the doctor. These aren't scammers. This is our family. Family. Valentina Petrovna stood up and walked to the window. Stephen, you're a grown-up boy, but trusting. Let's see how much your wife loves you. Stephen was taken aback. What do you mean, see? It's on her table in 2 weeks. Listen, his father interjected, having remained silent until then. Your mother is right. Tell her the doctors mixed up the tests. That they found cancer in you. And that now she'll have to look after you, sell the apartment, and treat you. See how she reacts. If she stays with you and fights for you, it means she truly loves you. Then we'll give the go-ahead for the sale. But what if she runs away like a rat from a sinking ship? Then think for yourself if such a woman is worth such sacrifices. Stephen felt the ground shift from under his feet. Are you crazy? This is cruel and stupid. She's in shock, she's depressed. And I'm going to come and say it's not she who has cancer, but me. Why this lie? Because we don't want our gift, our beloved apartment, to go to a woman who'll run away at the first sign of trouble, his mother snapped. You want our help? Play by our rules. Stephen left his parents in utter disarray. He struggled with himself the entire way home. His mind screamed at him that this was monstrous. But somewhere deep down, in the darkest corner of his soul, a worm of doubt, sown by his mother, lurked. What if she really does leave? It happens. Hilary met him at home, tearful but collected. She was trying to cook dinner, but her hands were shaking. How are your parents? She asked. Are they okay with it? Stephen was silent for a moment, looking at her. Then he took a deep breath and sat down opposite her. Hilary, I need to tell you something. The doctors rechecked the tests. There was a mistake. A terrible mistake. Hilary froze, hope gleaming in her eyes. A mistake. So I'm healthy. Stephen lowered his head. You're healthy, yes. But They found the disease in me. The silence in the room became resounding. Hilary slowly sank into a chair, her face lengthening, the color draining from her cheeks. What? How? These are my tests. Stephen. They got mixed up at the lab. The names are similar. I'm sorry. He struggled with each word. The treatment is expensive. We'll still have to sell the apartment. Only now, for me. Hilary looked at him, and a storm of fear, disbelief, pain was evident in her eyes. Then she stood up, walked over to him, and hugged him. Silly, she whispered. What difference does it make which one of us has it? We're a team, remember. We can do this. Together. I'll be with you every day. We'll sell the apartment, we'll sell everything. Just hang in there. Do you hear me? Don't you dare give up. Stephen froze. He expected anything. Hysteria, accusations, the question. Why should I suffer because of you? But she simply took the blow. She, who had just been robbed of her hope of recovery and given a new, more terrible burden, did not flinch. The next 3 days were hell for Stephen. He played the role of the patient. And Hilary the role of nurse and savior. She called clinics, looked for quotes, negotiated with doctors, reassured him, cooked healthy meals. She even called his parents to ask for their support for Stephen, and heard a cold, "We'll think about it," on the line. Stephen saw her, sleep-deprived but smiling, bringing him breakfast in bed. He saw her secretly crying in the kitchen, thinking he couldn't hear. He saw her, without a second thought, laying out all the personal savings she had been saving for a rainy day. On the 4th day, Stephen broke down. He couldn't lie anymore. That evening, he took her hand, sat her down on the sofa, and, looking into her eyes, said, "Forgive me. Please forgive me. You don't have cancer. And neither do I." The tests weren't mixed up. Hilary froze, confused. What? Steve, are you delirious? Are you feeling unwell? Should I call an ambulance? No. I'm not unwell. I'm healthy. It was a test. He told her everything, about his conversation with his parents, their conditions, his weakness. When he finished, Hilary was silent for a long time. She looked at him as if she were seeing him for the first time. You wanted to test me to see if I'd abandon you, knowing that I'd just experienced the horror of death myself. You decided to play these games with me? I'm a fool, Hill. I gave in. They said the apartment. The apartment? She jumped up. You could have just told me the truth about my parents. We would have come up with something else, taken out a loan. But you decided to play God, to watch me suffer, thinking you were dying. She went into the bedroom and locked the door. Stephen heard her crying, no longer quietly, like in the kitchen, but loudly, with a heartbreaking sob. He sat outside the door all night, begging her for forgiveness. Explaining that love had clouded his judgment, that he was afraid of losing her. In the morning, Hilary emerged with red eyes but a cold face. "I'm going to my mother's," she said. "I need to think. Your parents? They're terrible people, Stephen, but you betrayed me worse. You betrayed my faith in you. I'll change. I'll tell them everything. We'll sell the apartment without their permission." "No need," she shook her head. "You don't understand. It's not about the apartment. I was ready to die for you for those 3 days. I was literally dying inside every minute, thinking I was losing you. And you just watched, experimenting. There's no cure for this, Steve." She left. And a week later, Stephen received a divorce notice. His parents, learning that the experiment had failed and the family had broken up, blamed everything on the ungrateful upstart Hilary. Stephen was left alone in the apartment that had never been sold, with a pillow still smelling of her perfume. And a monstrous burden of guilt he would have to bear for the rest of his life. He'd gotten the very apartment he'd wanted to keep, but lost everything he'd ever wanted it for.